All right, so good morning once again, and it's time for the news review. And guess who's back?
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Hey, hey.
Are you going to tell the people? Did you go have a wedding or something?
No, I didn't. But I was off sick for a few days. But I'm better now, so I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
But the band is still there. We can see it.
Yeah, I actually changed it. So, yeah. This is what we're doing in our lives now. Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's so great to be back. Changing bands, changing lives.
And you're not telling anybody anything?
No, I'm not telling anybody anything. What I am telling everybody this morning, though, is what's in the Ghanaian Times. So how about we start with the Ghanaian Times this morning?
Okay, please.
Okay. that was smooth, eh? Smooth operator levels. Okay, so on the front page of the Ghanaian Times this morning, NTC, NRSA, others launched nationwide campaign against road crashes. Will support Electrochem to successfully develop Songo, that's according to the Minerals Commission. Illicit items flood prisons due to the absence of scanning machines to check visitors and inmates. And that's quite serious, because the scanning machines, if you watch like Orange is the New Black, or you watch any of these prison series, you realize how so much is prevented, so many things are prevented at the point where, people are being scanned, and knives, guns, all sorts of things, things that can be used to commit suicide, blade, things that can be used to attack other people. So far, no, we don't have scanning machines, and it's difficult, because are you really going to risk search?
We really don't have scanning machines there?
Yeah. It's, I don't know why you sound so surprised.
I'm surprised.
Okay,
I'm very surprised.
So I'm not. Anyway, the lack of scanning machines at the country's prisons continue to affect the service's efforts in preventing the smuggling of illicit items into the cells by inmates and visitors. This Chief Superintendent Achim speaking, he is the Chief Superintendent of Prisons, and he says that some of the visitors bring mobile phones, narcotic drugs in their private parts and in their wigs, canned food, bars of soaps and meals, among others, during the search as entry point at the prisons. Some of the inmates also conceal contraband goods, in the human system, such as the anus. And if a search must be done, it requires the presence of a medical officer based on serious suspicion.
Okay, so these are things that the scanners can't get. If people are hiding stuff in their anus,
I think some of the high-tech prisons have the, not just the pan one, like the machine one, the one that you walk through.
Like the one in front of Joy FM.
Well, yeah, that one. But then there's also like the X-ray one, that when the person passes through, you kind of get a view of.
Yeah, so it's probably the X-ray.
But for high-security prisons, you definitely need.
You need an X-ray.
Yeah, because as people are just, bringing in cocaine and all sorts. So anyway, that's just another problem here in Ghana that has to be solved. Man in court for allegedly raping victim. Dozens of aid drivers arrested in Ethiopia. Tigray rebels raped women in the Amhara region. And it's so sad how women suffer so badly when, there's all sorts of violence and suddenly, it becomes an issue of rape. Really, really heartbreaking. Poland faces new migrant surge due to breached border. In whom was God's covenant with Abraham established? Ooh, Ishmael or Isaac? Oh, that sounds very interesting. Meanwhile, there's another editorial, Winner's Edge, self-honesty. Are you being honest to yourself these days? It's very easy to live, in denial of everything. Have you seen something that's interesting for you?
No.
Okay. I can see something that's interesting for me, your short sleeve shit. Robust digitalization.
My trotro uniform. I'm going to board a trotro.
If everybody had such a delicious trotro uniform, wouldn't we all just take trotros for the fun of it? Yeah. Robust digitalization will provide dependable socio-economic transformation. Work together to incite national cohesion and inclusiveness. 1,602 prisoners granted pardon in 2020, that's according to the Vice President. Ghana partners Swedish-Swiss organizations to reduce emissions. Oh, this should be interesting for you. National Cathedral of Ghana to be ready by 2024. And that's in, 2 years? Yeah, the construction of the National Cathedral of Ghana, NCG, please note it's called NCG, has commenced and it will be ready for use on March 7th, 2024. Why March 7th though? Anyway, so Reverend Kusi Boateng says the 20,000 seating capacity cathedral will serve as a national interdenominational, we know all of this already. So yeah, okay, so March 7th, 2024. And then, of course, there are all the ways that you can donate and send more. I wonder what's happening with all the hospitals and all of that. And we also promised to build. And no, it's not apples and oranges, in my opinion. It's actually very closely related in what is important to us. Reverend Owusu Bempa, 6 others slapped with 11 new charges. That's on page 15. Victims of tidal wave destruction returning home after receiving support from Assembly and NADMO. And that nationwide launch, that nationwide campaign against road crashes also has been launched. The NPA is warning against illegal petroleum trade at the Aflao border and GNMS to enforce household fire safety law soon. That's according to the PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service. Okay, Hungary pledges support for Ghana's water management. NRSA boss named West African Road Safety Ambassador. Human Rights Group organizes workshop on Ghana case tracking system. Investor confidence in Ghana stock exchange is high. We're not going to IMF for bailouts. That's according to Ken Oforiatta, Minister of Finance. Value of SMEs in ICT healthcare estimated at $39 million. That's very interesting. Abandon LNG importation plan. CSO budget forum tells government. Dawu Theatre of Dreams gets conditional approval. Oh, okay. That's the main venue for the Premier League club Dreams FC. So
it's actually Dawu.
Dawu. Okay. My aim is to raise African para sports to the next level. Africa wraps up World Cup group stage qualifiers. President to launch AG 2023 logo mascot soon. Kotoko players, legends, pockets 8,000. I wonder how Hearts of Folk is doing. Black Stars set for Ethiopia tests. Well. Are you really?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, we hear you. Also, the Black Stars.
It's our anniversary, actually.
When?
110 years since the club was founded.
Oh. So, what are you doing in sports?
Yeah, we have to win. Our games this weekend. Our game this week. Definitely we have to.
Okay, well, all the best to that. Black Stars will be facing Ethiopia in Joburg for the FIFA 2022 World Cup qualifier. Make us proud, boys. Make us proud. That's it for the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, so now that we're done with the Ghanaian Times, can we talk about the band?
No, we can't. Let's talk about the Daily Graphic. That's what we're here for.
Okay. So the Daily Graphic on the front page, dealing with youth unemployment, we must work together. That's former President John Mahama saying that. And I find it impressive that we have the former president having an event last night, and the Daily Graphic giving them, the former president, the front page.
The front page.
It just goes to show that the kind of democracy we practice here in Ghana is
democratic.
It's a little better than. Well, it's a lot better than what's happening elsewhere, even though we have our own problems with the democracy we are practicing. But yeah, that's a conversation for another day. Okay, so let me get into it. And it was kind of like the kind of lectures that we used to have from Vice President, then running mate. Baumia.
Yeah.
It was a kind of thing. So anyway, he touched on a number of things. He says we need to work together as a nation and face youth unemployment head on. Former President John Mahama has declared. In doing that, he said the private sector needed full support to help resolve the troubling levels of joblessness. So joblessness was one of the main things he touched on, but that wasn't the only thing he talked about. So let me move to that story. Touched on a number of things. Yeah. So one of the things, he touched on government's approach to fighting unemployment. He didn't think that government had a plan. It says, Mr. Mahama said it was all clear that the government had no sustainable plan to address unemployment that continued to plague the country. The botched NABCO experiment has proved not to be the pathway and the means to an end, he said. Then he talks about the plan that the NDC had, what they had in their manifesto, and he says that government should feel free to use that plan and implement it. Don't charge them anything for it. He talks about technology and how you can use technology to resolve the unemployment challenge. And then he talks about the tax burden. And the tax burden, it's coming, his comments on the tax burden is coming at a time that everybody else is complaining. So he says, to further reduce the burden of unemployment, he said the government had a unit to lessen the tax burden on small and medium businesses. Small and medium businesses, must be allowed to grow to become more innovative and expand their employment generation capacity. He stated. The former president said the economic challenges confronting the nation called for the efficient and modest use of taxes accruing to the government. This is not the time for more taxes. The people are reeling under the heavy weight of existing taxes. This is the time for efficiency and the modest use of the taxes collected, he said. Okay, so that's former President John Mahama in his Thank Ghana address. Also on the front page of the Daily Graphic, chieftaincy disputes major security threats. That's Kandapar, and saying that story is on page 3. And EU to sanction Belarus over migrant influx. That's international news. And then UK Supreme Court blocks $4.3 billion action against Google. In health, essential health services patronage declines. So apparently, a number of people are still not going to the hospital because they fear they could catch COVID when they get there. But the Ghana Health Service is saying that the hospitals, all our health facilities are safe for patronage. The public must be confident in accessing essential health services. This came up at the height of the pandemic when people just feared going to the hospital. There was a phobia because they felt that if you go to the hospital, you could catch COVID. The situation has improved, but apparently it's still not back to pre-pandemic levels. So, well, the Ghana Health Service is saying that, please, don't hesitate to go to the hospital if you're unwell. Go to the hospital if you have to. Then crackdown on driver indiscipline and in politics. Resort NADMO, Parliament urges government. The members of Parliament have appealed to the government to, as a matter of urgency, resource the National Development Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to provide critical relief items to the 1,200 residents of the 3 constituencies in the Volta region who have been displaced by the recent tidal waves. So the figure here is 1,200, but the authorities, they're actually talking about 4,000 people. So yes, they need all that. So we are with the people of those affected communities, and we are urging the government to find money to complete the second phase of the Sea Defense Project. Name Kumasi Airport after Bafo Akoto. That's MPP youth saying that. Ghana marks day at COP26. And no IMF bailout despite debt size. That's the finance minister saying that. We have gone to the Eurobond market, I guess 4 out of the 5 years since we came, and those are always alternatives that we consider. Except the government itself has indicated that people are not taking up the bonds, or in fact selling off the bonds. And Ghana is not as attractive as it used to be when it comes to selling international bonds, which means that we would have to pay up a lot more if we go to the bond market. So it's something that we need to consider. Prices of goods services soared 11% in October. That will be inflation. And then Guta advises against new taxes in 2022 budget. So the Ghana Union of Traders Association, they're saying that they're appealing to government to use the 2022 budget to reduce the cost of doing business and strengthen companies to spur economic growth. Moving on. In the center spread, tap latest innovations, best practices, maritime stakeholders urge. And President Akufo-Addo, world leaders witnessed investiture of Neves. Cape Verde was in a crisis, as revealed and aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic, whose effects had been profound, particularly at the socio-economic and emotional levels. So I'm just seeing this story in the center spread of the Daily Graphic, and I'm telling myself, elsewhere, President Akufo-Addo's story would have been front page.
Front page, yeah, of course. And then Mohammed's story would have been maybe
center spread. So yes, that's what I'm saying. I find it impressive that the Daily Graphic has done this, which is a national daily
newspaper. Yeah.
Okay, so EPA ready to partner Zoomlion and others for clean environment, and then NADMO distributes relief items to tidal wave victims. I've been talking about that. So some relief has eventually gotten to the people of Keta and surrounding communities who are affected by that tidal phenomenon. So it's good. And, we're happy that it is happening. We've spoken to some of the people. They're saying that, well, it's not enough, but at least we're happy that they're getting something.
Yeah.
Okay. Journalist charged in Reverend Owusu Bempah case. Okay. Why? So police prosecutors have charged a journalist of the Despite Media Group for conniving with Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah in the alleged threat to kill self-acclaimed fetish priestess turned evangelist Patricia Udro Kranting, a.k.a. Nana Agrada. The police said Kwame Amo, the journalist, interviewed Reverend Owusu Bempah, the general overseer of the Glorious Word Power Ministry International, on the day of the said event. The seventh accused person, that's Kwame Amo, who is a radio presenter, also went to the scene to interview the first accused, Reverend Owusu Bempah, thereby instigating the other accused persons and others at large. The prosecutor, Chief Inspector Dennis Tekwete, told the Accra Circuit Court yesterday. That's interesting.
Very interesting.
He was interviewing the person, so how does that
get him into trouble?
Yeah. So, sea waves disaster in Volta climate change issue. That's Professor Gajepo saying that. Then going to the other stories in the Daily Graphic. Oh, so it's the first anniversary since former President Rawlings died.
Yeah.
So there's an advert.
Yeah,
there's an advert on in the Daily Graphic, page 33. It says, "In loving memory of Flight Lieutenant General Rawlings, retired former President of the Republic of Ghana, a loving president, husband, father, and friend to many, you will forever be missed, JJ. To live in the hearts of those we love is never to die," Thomas Campbell. So there's a remembrance service to mark the first anniversary of the passing of Flight Lieutenant General Rawlings. It's on Friday, November 12th, tomorrow at 9 a.m., the Holy Spirit Cathedral at Accra, and the attire is white, formal, or traditional. And the event is open to the public. Okay, it's open to the public, but we're in COVID times.
No, I'm sure
we can't really pack people there.
It's really gone fast, hasn't it? 1 year already.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that it was also all of a sudden or all too soon. 1 year. It's the first anniversary. Okay. In showbiz, juju in music industry is real. Really?
That's interesting, yeah.
AK Songstress. So dancehall artist AK Songstress had heard of the use of black magic, known in local parlance as juju, but had no idea that she would have an experience with it. According to the songstress, since her latest song, Jonathan, which she released about a month ago, gained international appeal, she has been receiving spiritual attacks. Hey, really? Okay. So, well, yeah, that's a story in the Daily Graphic. You can grab the copy of the Daily Graphic and get to read some more. Now, let me take you to, why should I pay for a service I will never need? Ask Dr. Frank Asare Donko. And this has to do with the National Road Safety towing levy, which appears to be coming back. Then Ash Gold will be our next victim, Faisal Skipper warns. MTN presents 50,000 Ghana cedis for swag awards. Gold Stars will stop Kotoko at BBNE. That's Accra rep saying that. And then on the back page, Stars can't falter against Ethiopia today. and Hazaka's ladies to maintain unbeaten run. Right, that'll be it for the Daily Graphic.
Okay, well, we're going to go to My Joy Online in a minute, but let me just do a few stories from the Daily Guide this morning. So one that caught my eye, back page of the Daily Guide, Antonio Conte, speaking again. He's the Tottenham Hotspur's manager, and he's banned ketchup and mayonnaise from the players' fields, also sandwiches and other things. Remember that he's the coach who said that, you know, the boys should focus
have sex
on
with
just
their wife.
having sex with their wives, because then they're not required to put in
exerting themselves.
An amazing performance. So, anyways, some entertainment. Kidi Kwame Eugene to Rock Ghana DJ Awards. Gospel act MQB drops all the glory. Cuts the ethnocentric gimmick. I can't help the Northerners, Liman and Mahama to win power. Okay, that's on the entertainment page. We're not sure why it's there. And then there's a piece in honor of Fela Ransom Kuti. If you're a Fela Kuti fan, his music is pretty amazing. His intros, though, is so long, right, before you get to the actual song. But then one could argue that the intro is part of the actual song, so depends. Some international stories. Dozens of aid drivers arrested in Ethiopia. At least 26 children die in Niger school fire. Marie Antoinette's bracelets sell at auction for $8 million. And Trump bid to block Capitol riot records rejected. German COVID surge prompts warning of 100,000 deaths. Those are some international stories, but let's go to myjoyonline.com and get some of our online stories.
Before then, let me bring you the story where in the Business Finder, government is dropping hints, or the information minister is dropping hints that we're likely to see some new taxes introduced. So it says 30 billion cedis, Ghana cedis due state, not forthcoming, limiting development efforts. So it is estimated that revenues due government valued at between 8 and 12% of gross domestic product from various economic activities in the country do not get to government. And the information minister is saying that obviously we would need to introduce some new broad-based taxes if we are to rake in the needed revenues to deliver what our people desire. New taxes may have to be imposed on items that exclude the poor and do not have high cascading effects, so that it does not increase the difficulties that the Ghanaian is going through. So, well, you've been warned.
Okay, let's quickly do myjoyonline.com before we hand over to sports. So on the front page of myjoyonline.com, NPP government is our common national tragedy.
Hey.
Wow, that's Mahama to Ghanaians. And I'm sure at some point yesterday he must have said that. Common national tragedy, right? CNT. Okay, 16 driver unions suspend intended strike over fuel prices. Mahama criticized government over unwillingness to acknowledge economic problems. Anti-LGBTQ bill, parliament to begin public hearing today. 2021 BEC is scheduled to begin next Monday, November 15th. Mahama blames unbudgeted consumption and expenditure before election 2020 for current state of the economy. Scrapping of levies in the price build-up could compromise the quality of fuel at the pumps. We received only 7 mattresses from NADMO, and Volta Region tidal wave. Students of Fuveme Basic School forced to study in 2 classrooms. Okay, well, that's it for My Joy Online. Lots and lots more stories if you just pop onto that site. So we're going to take a quick break, and Muftal is going to bring you the sports after that. Izzy is going to head out and jump on a chotro, and I'm sure he doesn't even remember what that feels like to be on a chotro.
Really?
On a chotro. But he's going to jump on a chotro and let us know what's like, how the drivers really feel about, you know, what's going on.
And the passengers as well. So what do they make of the conversations that are going on? Do you want to, you know, enjoy a reduction in fuel prices so that you don't get to pay more for your transport fares, which will then mean that you're not likely to get the development project you've been wishing for in your community?
Yeah.
Or
are you willing to pay more?
Yeah.
So that you can actually eventually get the developmental projects that you...
Let's know what you think. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Arose. We hear you. Happy birthday to Harta for 110 years. So yeah.
Say it well. Is that the way you know, make a
Happy birthday to
dedication.
Hearts of Oak, 110 years. Out of that, I don't know how many years you've been losing games for if we put your cumulative losses together. But we thank God for your existence.
Who does that? When you're wishing somebody happy birthday, then you're trying to throwing jabs and all of that.
Okay, we'll be back. We're going for a break, and after that, the sports is coming up.